Hold on to your butts.
Don't move, you're surrounded by armed bastards.
What are we going to do?
Well, I say let's get out there and twat it.
Good evening, welcome back to the Cabin Night Podcast. I'm Jake.
I'm James.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to be discussing the Big Four of thrash and the Big Four of alternate genres of metal, or sub-genres of metal. Before we get into that, we'd like to invite you to grab a drink, make yourselves comfortable, and enjoy the discussion. Okay, I've not really thought much into this beyond, well, considering we decided to do this yesterday. Not really thought much beyond an opening question, and it's probably a bit of a weak one actually, but let's go with it anyway. The Big Four as we know them: Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, and that other band, whoever they are. What are they called again?
Dave.
Do you remember when breasts were more important?
Breasts were more popular than Dave, yeah, they were.
A little bit of
There's a
background
lot
there.
of things that I would put breast more popular than.
This is fair. The man has a point. The man does have a point.
It's not really a high bar to clear, is it?
No.
I mean, rolling my ankle the other day was more fun than Megadeth. So anyway, yeah.
Well, sorry, I thought we were talking about breasts. Sorry.
No, breasts are definitely better than that.
That's it, yeah.
Moving on from breasts, quickly.
Do we have to?
Okay, this episode is going to be about breasts. New title, forget the Big Four.
The Big Four breasts.
Yay!
We've not even started drinking.
We've not. Oh, it's been a long week.
Anyway. So yeah, the Big Four as we know them, of thrash. Obviously, Rob, you are into your thrash. Well, I mean, obviously we all are to a degree. Mm-hmm. You're a big fan. But are they an accurate Big Four? Would you say they were at the point that they received that accolade and started touring as the Big Four? Was that an accurate? I think Metallica, arguably, yes.
But by that point, were they thrash? No, I don't.
So when did the term Big Four come?
Big Four-
Was it a later thing?
It came about 2000 and... I mean, they were always kind of known as the Big Four in somewhere else, which is weird because...
Journalistic circles.
Yeah, three of them are from California and one of them's from New York.
Yeah, because it's all Bay Area. Bay Area
Three of them are Bay Area and one of them's New York. Anthrax are from New York.
But is
So-
it because they sort of broke through to the mainstream, as it were?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on the Clash of the Titans tour in 1990, it was Slayer, Anthrax, Megadeth, and they took out a relatively unknown band by that point, which was Alice in Chains. Mm-hmm. So technically they could be claimed as killing thrash because they brought grunge into it. But Metallica were obviously on the height of the Black Album or off the back end of Injustice, so they didn't tour with them. So it really did come about properly with the Big Four. The first one in Sofia in 2010, I think it was, because then they played Sonic.
It's the one you have the poster for, right?
It is.
Oh, yes, it is, isn't it?
Bulgaria, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hype about it, and I remember when they announced it, I was like, I need to go to this because they might never do it again. They don't like each other really, so this might never happen again.
Lars and Mustaine putting a brave face on.
Yeah, I think.
If it's someone to Lars, money. Ooh!
I think yes, they were. They are the most well-known.
And do you not think, such as Testament or Exodus then, I mean, to hear Gary Holt talk about the rivalry between Exodus and Metallica at that time, he said that they were regularly outplaying them on club nights, not in the local scene.
A thrash aficionado like I am, I say no.
Flatter yourself.
I say no, they aren't the Big Four. There are many bands that are better than those
Okay.
four. Some of them, yeah, Slayer would definitely be in there. Metallica at a point would be in there.
So you would say more an era of that band would be deserving of that accolade.
Yeah,
Well, I think even to this day, for me, Metallica still strike me as possibly the biggest thrash band in the world.
yeah. I think they are possibly the biggest metal band, notwithstanding like Judas Priest or Black Sabbath, probably. Maiden, yeah. I would say, like, if you talk to the general public, have you heard of the Big Four? Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, or Slayer? Slayer will get one because of the T-shirts that you can buy. You don't see very many Megadeth T-shirts in Marks and Spencer's. Or
There's a reason for that.
the reason for that, yeah, okay. Some people don't like Megadeth.
No, but you make a point, yeah, because you're going to see Metallica or Slayer. They're the two brands of that group, aren't they? You're right.
It's like you can. I mean, I'm also guilty of this, but you can buy a Maiden T-shirt in Asda.
I'm guilty of that.
You can buy a Kiss T-shirt.
I'm also guilty of this.
Are you also on your way to kill Euronymous?
I was also on my way to kill Euronymous.
So yeah, the Big Four currently, as it stands, no. What they started, yes. They started that scene.
How do you feel about that, James?
Rob has got more of a sort of informed opinion than I have. I would definitely argue on that. But I would say as a Big Four go, as while there may be better bands, like for me, for example, when we saw the Big Four at Sonosphere, the order they played is not necessarily the order I would have put them on as. But that's only a personal preference. I've got a very controversial opinion on one of the Big Four.
Yeah.
And I don't think the one you're expecting either.
No, I think I know which one it is.
Is that Slayer?
It is Slayer.
I don't think it's controversial because I feel like what you're about to say is going to mimic what I'm going to say.
I watch Slayer and go, all right, that's Slayer. I mean, okay, we take the piss out of Megadeth all the time, but if you're going to present me a Megadeth album or a Slayer album, to be fair, I'm probably going to pick a Megadeth album. I mean, I'd rather stab both of them in my ears and not listen to either of them. But if I had to choose, I would put on Megadeth.
Is that because Slayer never changed?
No, they always.
They started at that level and just continued. Every album, much like AC/DC, every album is the same.
You know what you get
format.
Yeah,
they never had the ballad. They had a slower song, but it was still heavy chugging. And there was then a thrashy part in it, like Dead Skin Mask or Seasons in the Abyss. They were slower versions.
But they were a slow Slayer song. They weren't necessarily a slow song.
Yeah.
So I think Robbie's right, and I think it makes sense to call them the Big Four because most people will know them. Like you're saying about if you say metal, other than Priest and all that. But I think if you say metal, people would say someone like Metallica or Slayer. They might not necessarily say Iron Maiden or Black Sabbath, as you were saying, because a lot of people who aren't in the metal scene will just say, well, they're not metal, they're classic. They become part of this generic classic rock bubble now, really, even though they are, the pioneers of heavy metal and new wave of British heavy metal. They've become part of this pantheon of classic rock to people who aren't,
But to a certain extent, Metallica have, really.
I think, to some degree, I think they have.
And they're not that band at all, really, but I think it's part of that is longevity, though.
I don't mean this as an insult. A lot of people use this term around as an insult to a lot of heavy bands, but could that be because a lot of Metallica stuff is radio friendly? And a lot of people use that as almost a dig at a lot of bands to say radio friendly.
Well, it kind of leads into how I feel about Slayer as well, because you mentioned already that Slayer started out at that level and they've never changed. Okay, as they've maybe become more accomplished artists, the solos have become, make slightly more sense than what Kerry King were doing back in the 80s. But you said about bands selling out. I like a band. Did you mention selling out?
I never mentioned
radio
selling
friendly. It's all in that same.
Hey man, you sold out. You sold out. You made a video. You sold out, man.
No, it's usually thrown about in those same lines. Selling out, trying something new, becoming radio friendly, that sort of thing. And for me, I look at, and not just with regards to thrash, I look at all the bands I listen, all the artists I listen to, and I do quickly become bored with the bands. And that's not to say that they're doing anything poor or sub quality, if you know what I mean, but I do become more bored with the bands that do the same thing album on album. And okay, if they've got a formula that works, Disturbed being a good example, or Powerwolf, or
no, I get what you're saying. I know where you're going.
But then a band at their absolute best. So, for example, would you say maybe Trivium on the Crusade, Trivium on Shogun,
definitely not on the Crusade,
on Shogun, or Sin in the Sentence? Would you be happy listening to that album after album? I don't think I would. I do like it when a band tries something new. And although Slayer have those good songs that I do like, I don't think
trying something new as a natural evolution, I think, is a good idea. So you use the band Trivium as an example. You can hear, apart from the mistake that is the Crusade, which I think still objectively is not actually that
still
bad
better than Vengeance Falls.
Yes.
Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, David. Sorry when Trivium tries to do a Disturbed album. Yeah, okay. Battle Vengeance Falls, but if you listen to Trivium, it's a natural progression. Like, even though the most recent one, Caught the Dragon, is, you could argue, a different sound to Ember to Inferno, you can still tell it's the same band.
Trivia,
It's a progression of the band rather than being the same album 10 times.
And that's what I would say for Maiden as well, though. For Maiden's new album, although his voice, say what you want about his voice not necessarily being there and what have you, and the songs being like 42 minutes long each, it's still noticeably Maiden.
Yeah, it's still got that unmistakable quality.
But it's very different. You put Senjutsu side by side with Power Slave, two very different albums.
But it's still the same
both
band.
clearly
No,
Maiden.
you're right.
So I think that's possibly my issue with Slayer, is that it's not that what they're doing is bad, it just bores me after a while.
Well, to use Trivium and to use Maiden as an example as well, like you've just said, Maiden certainly have a theme. Since probably Power Slave, they've had a certain theme for that album. So it takes on that. So Power Slave is Aztec, and they take on some of them
Egyptian, right?
Egyptian.
What sounds good? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
well,
Ancient World.
Yeah, Ancient World.
Yeah.
And Trivium do the same, because he's done some where he's done them about mythology and different things. So they're gonna sound different because he's singing about different things, and out and out Trivium wouldn't sound right singing about a certain thing if it's not done. If it's done as Trivium, Ember to Inferno Trivium, Shogun might not sound as good done in that style. And vice versa.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I think Slayer, although they had a theme, which was we're going to do thrash, there wasn't much difference.
No wiggle room with that, yeah. So with that in mind, then, would you replace any of them? Would you say there would be better bands?
I mean, I would take out Slayer for me, and I'd replace them with Testament. For me.
And would the rest of the lineup remain?
I think so, because the one that stood out more for me was Anthrax. I always felt they were more of they had much more of a punk influence. I mean, I know thrash does have
Party
a punk.
thrash.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it is. You know, Megadeth, Metallica, and Slayer all took themselves very seriously, whereas Anthrax were going, "Hey guys, we're going to have some fun." So they always kind of stuck out a little bit more. I'm not saying they weren't bad, they weren't good, because they were good. Of course they are.
If you think about it, they were essentially like a prototype for a lot of modern thrash bands that were doing it, because the image of thrash now is more sort of denim coats, drink till you throw up, party.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got bands such as like Municipal Waste now that are they are just a modern evolution of.
Yeah.
But I'd take out Slayer and replace them with Testament simply for longevity, because not Exodus, Slayer have called it a day, whether rightly or wrongly. Some, I don't know, a forever debate in the Slayer camp, whether rightly or wrongly, but they've called it a day. Whereas Testament, I think, probably could keep going for as long as they wanted to keep going, because they're not really. While some albums aren't as good as others, they're always coming up with new ideas, and they're still trying to go forward. As are Metallica, as are Megadeth, and as are Anthrax. Whereas Slayer, like you said, kept doing the same album every time. And if people like that, then that's absolutely fine. But from like Jake, I got bored hearing that.
Yeah.
Rob, would you replace it?
I wouldn't take out Slayer, because I think they deserve that slot, definitely. More so than the other ones, because they did. If talking about the big four of thrash, they stayed true to thrash from day one. They didn't try and get that radio hit. They didn't try.
Well, they did it inadvertently, I suppose, with Raining Blood.
Yeah.
But that more became like a cult thing. Than
Well, the only other ones that really made it big were Season in the Abyss, because it was on soundtrack for some film.
Our film.
Bloodline, I've Got It As All. That was another one that was a bit slow.
South of Heaven used in anything?
Possibly.
That was another relatively well known one. That's actually my favourite.
Well, Season of the Abyss is my favourite. I would like to put Testament and Exodus in there, but I don't know who. If it was a big six,
Easy.
straight in.
Easy decision.
And then I'd argue, where does Overkill fit?
Well, something that I'm going to bring up as we sort of explore different genres of metal, different subgenres rather, and that's something I'm going to refer to as the Diamond Head slot.
Yeah.
Within that genre,
The special guest, as it were, yeah.
who and it's got to be logical with the rest. There's be a reason why they've invited these, because Metallica and
the Big Four
specifically wanted Diamond Head because they were such a big influence to all the band.
And then on the Big Four, was it Am I Evil?
They all played at the end,
with that, yeah.
And I think at some point each band, whether it just be live or on special bonus editions or whatever, they've all covered that song.
It's a cracking song, to be fair. If you're going to cover a song as it is,
I thought they were fantastic up Bloodstock.
to be fair, they were really
I
good.
thought
It wasn't the same singer, though, was it?
No, it was a different singer now, isn't it? Yeah, a Swedish bloke. Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate what you're saying in terms of sort of global recognition with regards to the Big Four. It's probably a pretty accurate Big Four.
Yeah.
However, when it comes down to personal taste, and that's all this is really, we're going to talk about which bands we enjoy more. I would replace Slayer for the reasons we've talked about already, and I would replace them with Testament, same as James. But I would also replace Megadeth now. The reason I would replace Megadeth, and just for clarity, I really enjoyed albums 2 and 3, which were Peace Cells and Rust in Peace. Is that right?
Peace Cell, no, 2 and 4.
2 and 4. I thought they were really good albums. I'd still regularly listen to them, but I don't think Dave, from a live point of view, I mean, at Bloodstock, just looking back at some, I mean, we didn't see him when they played Bloodstock, but looking back at some of the lives, the videos that are on YouTube and such now, it's not a.
No, it's not a
I
pretty
just
song.
don't think his voice. Maybe he's worked on it, and obviously he's been ill. That could have obviously affected his voice. But so I would replace them, but I would replace them with Overkill. That'd be an easy. I mean, and I know that in the world of thrash, they do come significantly lower than those 4 bands, but in terms of personal enjoyment, for me, Overkill.
But they're another one that do what they do and they never change.
But because of that, I would change the order,
Yeah.
so I would then go Overkill open. Well, Overkill would be the first of the Big Four, then Anthrax, Testament, Metallica.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the Big Four. We've picked that apart. So it'd be interesting then move on to other forms of metal. James, you're a power metal man.
Yeah, we're saying this,
We've talked about this. I know. I'm putting you on the spot anyway.
you are putting on the spot because I like power metal, but I like bits of power metal.
Yeah.
So my Big Four power metal probably, which happen to be my favourites at the moment.
And that's fine.
This
That's
is-
what I've said already. This is,
But
not necessarily. I mean, if you look at the big names in power metal, you've got Halloween and Manowar, 2 bands that neither of us, both fans of power metal, are particularly fussed about.
I mean, would we argue? And this is just more for the group. Queensryche. Would we argue they're a power metal-y band? They've even got elements of power metal.
I think Queensryche are to power metal what Motorhead was to thrash and speed metal.
Yeah.
They were probably the originators
They've got
of it.
crossover into new wave as well.
They
the
have,
new
yeah.
wave British.
They're a band. Yeah, they're definitely a band that straddle a few lines. But I think I mean, 2 definite straight away are Powerwolf and Sabaton. 2 definite straight away for both encompassing 2 different elements of power metal, like Sabaton for the very bombastic sound, very, it's fast and furious, it's 100 miles an hour, it's loud all the way. And Powerwolf for the theatrics of it all, when you see Powerwolf, it's a show. Yeah. There are wolves, things are on fire, you get blessed, you have an operatic singing lesson in the middle of the gig, as we did last time we saw them. And do you know when they do like a call and response going, you sing back, and you do it. For a good 5 minutes he was going, no, not good enough, do it again. And it was just going, we just want to get drunk and sing the song. And he was going, no, do it again. You're going, oh God. So yeah, I'd definitely go for... So I think maybe someone like Queensryche because they started it off, and then sort of Sabaton and Powerwolf. And then I'm going to throw in a little bit of a controversial one, because again, it's another band that blends genres, but because of what they have done and what they are still doing, I'd say Blind Guardian.
Blind Guardian, absolutely, are a power metal band.
Absolutely.
Well, the one that I said the early stuff, thrash. If you listen to their early albums, it's more thrash. I mean, take out things like the Bard, In the Forest, the Bard song, but something like The Last Candle. That's a thrash. That's a thrash song with really clean vocals.
The thing with power metal though is it was in its early stages thrash with keyboards.
Yeah,
that's okay. No, that's a fair point.
It's the speed of thrash with the melodicness with the keys and the vocals, isn't it? Really. So
I mean, yeah. So I definitely put Blind Guardian in there. But if you start what is power metal and things like that, you start blending when it's got keys and it's symphonic and stuff like that. If you're blending genres even then, it's like, you can't not include a band like Nightwish, really. And I know they're not really power metal, but they have a lot of elements of power metal.
that's the one thing I don't understand: how Nightwish get labelled as symphonic, but not power metal.
They're straddling those genres.
Yeah,
because I think that's mainly because they have a female fronted singer. So especially with Tarja, who was very operatic because she was an opera singer. I think that's why they get put in the symphonic, because the balance with the keys is a lot higher.
Yeah.
I say it's not a balance. The keys are very pushed to the front.
Going back to what you were saying about eras of a band on Nightwish, would you not say that Anna's era was quite
I'd say
magical? It encompasses a lot of those mystical sort of elements of.
You mean Annette?
Her as well.
Annette. I'd say the Annette. I'd say the Annette era. Those two albums. I'd say they're more just generic hard rock.
Really?
I would
So it's
because
like such a story time.
it's a fantastic
really
song.
Strong power metal vibes from that
Oh, it
because
has.
it's quite fantastical.
But I'm saying because of straddling genres, I say that they're pushing more that way because, and this is no disrespect to it, because I really like Annette. I'm one of the few people.
She can't sing the same.
No.
As
If you watch
certainly
video,
Talia.
if you watch videos of her singing, I mean, I know it's a hard song for anyone to sing, but try and sing "Ghost Love Score." It's atrocious. It's atrocious. That's why they made them a lot. I don't want to say simpler to sing, because they're still hard songs to sing. Again, easy is the wrong term, but they were better for her vocal range.
Yeah.
So that's again, they became a bit more radio friendly in that respect. In Storytime, Imaginarium is their most successful album, and critically is their most successful album as well. My favourite album. I think the big four for me, in no particular order. Can I order them?
yeah,
Can I
absolutely.
order? Can I order? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if I actually can. I'm not saying whether I'm allowed to. I'm trying to think whether I actually can in my head. In my head, I think Powerwolf would have to open. Powerwolf would have to be the first of the big four. Then into Blind Guardian, which has probably no sacrilege, and only because of the shows they put on, it would go Nightwish, Sabaton. Only because of the shows they put on, and that's no disrespect to the shows Nightwish push on, because they're much more. It's a very wanky word to use, but it's a bit more ethereal what they do. It's all kind of look at us, especially what they're doing with Fleur now.
Yeah.
It's very artistic, almost
Sort
proggy.
of image in it.
Yeah, I mean, and they're fantastic. They are still good.
I really enjoyed them.
They were really, really good. I mean, I know it wasn't Tarja. I know you keep rubbing it in that you've seen Tarja,
Yes.
but they were fantastic. I don't think anyone can disagree with that.
But by that same token, I've seen Tarja, but I wasn't a massive Nightwish fan anyway. So it didn't really matter. I know it matters to you because you
I
like them,
enjoyed
but-
watching Fleur though.
Yeah,
I think everybody enjoyed watching Fleur.
I saw Fleur in her other band, Revamp.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they-
Bloodstock in 2014. I got up early to go and watch her actually.
Did they open the stage?
I don't think they opened.
Oh, okay.
And what time does stage open? 11, is it?
About after 11 o'clock.
So I think they were on at like half 11, 12.
Oh, okay, so maybe second band.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's really good. She doesn't do the operatic bit.
No, that's why.
It's sort of more rocky vocal, isn't it?
Well, that's why everyone's a bit kind of surprised when they put Fleur in it, because everyone, not that she's bad, but everyone going, oh, okay. I think the only reason, I may have got it completely wrong, but I think the only reason she became the singer was because when Annette basically walked
was
out,
standing.
they were supporting one night.
Oh, were
They went, could you just, how many of these songs do you know? And she went, oh, I know all of them actually. They went, do you? Right, come with us! Because there's famous clips of, I don't know whatever band it was, they went, what songs do you know? They went, well, not many. So they're on stage, these singers on these other bands, reading the lyrics, because they don't really know the songs.
Yeah.
And they end up playing really random ones they just happen to know. Whereas Fleur went, oh no, I'm a really big fan of Nightwish, I know all the
know them
songs.
all.
And they went, oh, brilliant. And she was brilliant. So I think that would be
Do you have a Diamond Head slot for that?
what, as in like just one I'd like to see in that slot, or I'd like Diamond Head to have an influence over the others?
Your choice. Mine is not.
The only thing I think, like you said, it has to fit. It's
It
like,
has to be power metal.
you couldn't just put I don't know, Disturbed in that opening
Oh, no,
because this sounds like quite a good.
No, I was going to put Chaz and Dave in there, to get the crowd going with some Chaz and Dave.
I'm surprised you didn't put Status Quo in, to be fair.
Have you never heard Nightwish doing their version of snooker looping?
Oh god.
And,
Fleur, please record it.
yes, the Swedes there going, what the hell, snooker looping? No, I think so. If we're going for Diamond Head in the sense that it's a band that's influenced them, I think I'd go for someone like Queensryche. But if I'm going for one that fits the bill a little bit more, and maybe as an up and comer, I'd go for Odenogen as the new wave of power metal, because they are really.
We've spoke about this before, but they really impressed me. I was really impressed.
They're really taking the sort of theatrics of power metal to the next level, because every album's telling a story. It's got different themes. It's got their concept albums, which I know a lot of power metal albums do, to be fair. But they're really taking the new wave of power metal forward. Can you have is there an acronym for that? NWPMT.
No,
I don't know. I don't know. Yes, I think that's who I'd put in that slot.
Well, I'd only make two differences to my own list in terms of power metal. The Sabaton would be headlining, and again, it's based on enjoyment. After that would then be Powerwolf, purely based on enjoyment.
Oh, so are you going down from
I went from
headliner
the top,
down? Okay.
yeah. Then I'd have Blind Guardian, but the only difference to yours is the opening band. I would have Avantasia.
No, it's a good shot. No.
You should have thought of that one.
I should have thought Avantasia. No, Tobias Sammet's got that many friends. He can just appear in everyone's set doing one of his songs. So I'm sure at some point everyone on that bill has done a song with Tobias Sammet. So it's true. No, but Avantasia's a good shout. Actually.
And then in the Diamond Head slot, simply because they are probably at the time that their big song came out, one of the better known power metal bands. I mean, they featured on Guitar Hero, so everybody knows who Dragon Force is.
Yes.
So I think they'd be a good...
Everybody's fingers know who Dragon Force is.
Rob, do you have anything to add to the power metal? I know it's not your...
It's not really my cup of tea. I'm actually just looking through, because I'd got some music on and I just got like random songs on it, played some stuff. I quite like Hammerfall. I know they are...
No, yeah.
I know they're a pretty standard sort of...
No,
but again, if we're taking it back to the Big Four, they're the next wave of it, so they influenced so many bands after them.
There was one other one that I heard that I liked. Well, just out of interest, I'm just looking on Spotify. This is Power Metal. Sacrament of Wilderness by Nightwish is on that playlist. Oh. So you can have...
That's so interesting, because
if I was going to pick a
if I was going to pick a power metal song, that's not necessarily one I'd go for, Sacrament of Sin.
From Powerwolf?
No, from...
Nightwish.
You said Nightwish, didn't you?
Nightwish.
Yeah. Sacrament of Sin's an album by Powerwolf.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting confused.
Yeah. It's got religious overtones, so there must be a Powerwolf thing in there somewhere. It's not necessarily the most power metal song I'd have gone for Nightwish.
There's one that I do like, a band from Germany called Axel Rudy Pell.
Yes.
And they are...
You've tried to get... Yeah, because I've listened to bits of them because you went, oh, you like power metal? Listen to Actually Read About. And really
good. It's the very guitar side of
it. It's the wife that she got quite a few of the albums, and I sort of kind of by proxy listened to them. I really enjoyed Odeno Gan. I don't think I could put any band in order in particular. I don't think I've got a big four particularly. What's the one? The name sounds like another band, and I think we spoke about it at some point.
I'm trying to look at my CDs.
I don't think you've got them. I can't remember what it was.
You remember what the song was about? Or anything?
No, I'm just trying to look through the
newer band.
Newer band, I think.
For Ultimate Cheese, there's Power Quest. Power Trip? No, that's Thrash band.
Power Trip, I say Power Trip's far from power metal. Power Trip.
You know what I mean, don't you?
Glory Hammer.
Flight of... Are they power metal? They are power
metal. Glory Hammer. Of course I'm bloody...
Well,
no, they're still going. They're still supporting Hailstorm on that tour.
They are, and interestingly, I saw on now I'm part of Instagram, weirdly.
Look at you, influencer.
And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.
I'm dead inside.
Yeah, I am dying. The lead singer, Tommy...
Oh, from what?
Thomas Winkler. It's a funny name. Winkler. He is touring, and he's still because he owns the rights to the name Angus McFife. So the stories, including Angus McFife, obviously are still the property of thing. But as a performer, his official touring
character of Angus McFife.
So he's been recording as Angus McFife recently because he put it on his Instagram just very recently.
Interesting.
So
are we going to have an Angus McFife diss track? Is that what's going to happen?
There is only one other band I would add in, and I saw them at Cope. They were supporting something. I don't remember what it was. Sonata Arctic.
Oh yeah, no, really good. They're very
powerful. Because that was like my introduction. I'm like, what's this?
Is it Victoria's Secret? That was their big song.
I've got.
I'm sure.
At some point I had 2 or 3 there.
They've got a song called Caleb.
Have they? Okay.
There you go. Okay, well, obviously you led power metal. You're going to lead death for us, Rob.
Oh, I'm going to lead death.
You're going to lead death. What do you reckon?
Twilight Force. That was the band you were thinking of.
Okay, so I'm not a massive death fan. I prefer more of the Florida side.
Really old school.
So the not as well the stuff that's furthest away from thrash, to be fair, the slower, chuggier, with the more guttural vocals.
I do think though, because that scene was born out of thrash, though, it's probably more akin to thrash than you sort of like such as Cannibal Corpse and your heavier modern, you sort of tech death and whatever.
So Obituary definitely, they definitely get a slot. You can't talk about death without talking about death.
It's physically impossible.
You're 2 for 2 on my list.
You physically can't do it.
No, you can't.
There was a band that I got into about probably 6 or 7 years ago now. I don't know if you've heard of them. Aeon.
Yeah.
Heard of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't heard much of them.
I bought a I don't know if it heavy metal music something website. They'd got a deal on, and it's normally 5 for 25 or something like that. T-shirts, and they'd done it at 5 for 10 or something like that. So I bought that. I got an Aeon one, a Gorguts one.
Gorguts. Not heard of them in a while.
Yeah, I got a Death Tours one, so the DTA Tours that they did, I got that. I think there may have been an Ingested one. Strange enough, they were all death metal bands. So I listened to them all, and out of them all, Aeon was one that I really liked. So I'm not a massive Cannibal Corpse fan. They are, again, I think they need to go in because they are what they are, but they wouldn't be there for me just because I'm not a massive fan of theirs. So they would be my 4.
Okay, well, Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, so three of ours match with Death, Obituary, and Cannibal Corpse. My final band would be Morbid Angel.
Oh yeah,
because they are. I mean, they'd be my headliner as well, simply because. No, Death. It would be Death. It would be Death simply because with the lead singer being dead, it would be nice. Obviously, you know, when you talk about fantasy lineups and whatnot.
Yeah.
So Death would have to headline based on that. And then from an influence point of view, in the Diamond Head slot, Possessed.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, I'd put Possessed because they were like a thrash band with death vocals, weren't they?
Oh no, Possessed is a good shout. That's a really good shout. Actually.
And there's something really wholesome on social media recently where Jeff's been taking.
He's learning to walk again.
Oh god, yeah, I have seen that.
I've got years and years ago. I got I think this is thrash DVD or whatever, and it lists loads of bands and Possessed one. So I bought 2 albums off the back of that DVD. I bought Seven Churches, and the one after it or the one before it, Gates of.
It's the only one I'm familiar with, 7 Churches.
Hold on a minute, listener. Bear with me.
Just checking with Google. Spotify.
Beyond the Gates.
Beyond the Gates.
Which was the year after.
There's been an honourable mention to At the Gates as well.
Yeah. Do they come more under the mellow death?
Yeah, definitely.
Version?
Well, that's what my big 4 would have to be Megadeth.
Because that's more yours.
That's more my... I mean, you're right. You can't have a Death top 4 without Death. It's kind of the law, really. I mean, so Monomath again for what they're doing. I mean, because they've been around longer than people realise. I think.
Did Scum form in 92?
Early 90s, if not late 80s. They've been around a while, and ironically, they've been around that long that a Monomath are going to call it a day in the late 90s. That's how long a Monomath have been around.
Was it 99 versus the World?
Yeah, something like that. So that's how long they've been around. So, and the fact they've managed to keep going and keep evolving while still staying true to that sound. Again, for another band that's breaching through to the mainstream a little bit more, Arch Enemy. Maybe not so much the more recent stuff, but definitely at the height of Arch Enemy.
Yeah, definitely.
I would put them in there. And simply because you've mentioned it, I think Possessed. I think Possessed is a really good shout for Death. Death is more Megadeth where I get into it, and then where does Megadeth start just turning into more just heavy metal, and it's that cusp of the Death era, of death metal that I listen to more that end, whereas you two are a bit deeper in.
Okay. Yeah, I think that covers that. I think the only other one I really thought of earlier was a new wave Big 4.
Oh, so I thought when you say new wave, it was in like
new wave of British heavy metal.
Was it what new wave or new wave?
As in Iron Maiden wave.
Oh, well,
as in the 80s wave.
As in the
Iron Maiden,
Priest.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously Maiden and Priest have to be in there. But who would be the other 2 then?
See, I wouldn't have Maiden.
Would you not?
Not Maiden. Yeah, I would obviously.
But I say what?
No, I wouldn't have Ozzy because I don't think they are new wave. I think they were a blues rock. Certainly Black Sabbath. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'd put Def Leppard. No. I'm not a massive fan, but Def Leppard.
No, I would not.
They hate it. They hate being referred to in that new one category because they aren't that heavy metal. They are
heavy rock.
They're generic. I mean, that's not again.
They are officially classed as part
they
of
are.
that wave.
Yeah, it's because they came out of that time.
If you Google any interview with Joe Elliott about a new album,
yeah, but what does he do?
He absolutely slates it. We weren't that. We I don't think they were, but yes, they are. They are that.
And in terms of size as well, I mean, they headline Download.
Yeah,
so. Like Download, they do arena tours all the time. Oh, a band we've mentioned a lot on this episode already, Diamond Head.
Well, they're in my Diamond Head slot.
Diamond Head are in your
Diamond Head slot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I'd put Motorhead in there as well. My top 4 would be Def Leppard, not in this order, it'd be Maiden, Priest, Def Leppard, Motorhead, Diamond Head.
Swap Diamond Head and Def Leppard round, I might be alright. I don't want to put Def Leppard in that. I don't want to put Def Leppard in
I'm not putting Def Leppard in it. Maiden, Priest.
Yeah, you got to.
Priest have to be in there, don't they?
Thin Lizzy.
Really? You
They
class them?
were part of
Really?
They are part of that. They are technically part of that movement.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
Saxon.
Motorhead, and then I'd have Saxon.
Saxon in the Diamond Head slot.
I'd have Saxon in the Diamond Head slot.
Yeah. So take
Get rid of Def Leppard out.
Def Leppard out. Put Saxon in that slot, and then Diamond Head, Maiden and Priest, and I forgot what I said the other one would be. Motorhead, probably. Yeah, I think Motorhead. Even though they're not. Again, they're another band that they just played what the fuck they wanted to play, whether that was thrash, British heavy metal, whatever. They just played what they wanted to play. So.
You seem to remember something I'd forgotten earlier as an idea for this episode.
No, I was going to suggest new metal.
New metal, yeah, I do have new metal.
Oh, do you have new metal on there? Because we briefly talked about it earlier.
Well, you've done your 2 then, so let me tell you what my new metal big 4 would be. Again, it's not particularly an area. It's certainly if I did like it, it's something I came in my love of metal. I came quite late to new metal.
It was how I
know you.
It was how I got into metal. Was new metal.
So I think for that reason, I'm going to go with maybe some relatively basic perceptions of what new metal.
I don't think so. No, but again, they're there for those perceptions are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Again, it's the big 4. You know.
My opening band in the Diamond Head slot would be Dope.
Okay. Yeah.
Followed by the first of my new metal bands, Static X.
Yeah, I agree.
Followed by Disturbed.
If you're taking the first album, especially, yes.
Followed by Korn.
Yeah.
Followed by Slipknot. And I know they definitely became something more than new metal. But that first album,
they came out in that era, so now they're classed as new metal. N-E-W metal, not new.
New with umlauts. Yeah. Yes.
So I'm going to open the floor to you guys because it's certainly more you guys.
I think you're not far off what I'd say, but instead of Dope in that slot, I put Static X. I put Static X down
in the Diamond Head slot.
In the Diamond Head slot. And I think I agree with 3 of the rest of them. I think you're right with Korn, you're right with Disturbed, and you're right with Slipknot. What order they'd go on in, I'm not sure, because we're talking about eras as well. If we're going about that era, Disturbed would probably open. As much as I think.
Have you seen Slipknot live videos from that era?
Oh, they're mental.
Dreadful. Corey's got absolutely.
I'm not saying they headline.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's interesting because on paper Slipknot would be the headline.
No, I think I'm going to get to my headline. I think it would surprise you. So I'd say Disturbed open, then into Slipknot, then into Korn, and then into Linkin Park.
Oh, yeah.
Linkin Park, because when Hybrid Theory came out, they exploded. A bit like Slipknot, but they exploded with Hybrid Theory, and then Meteora as well.
The difference between Linkin Park and Slipknot was Linkin Park was definitely more accessible to everybody.
Oh God, yeah.
So that's why if Slipknot had have been more accessible and better, cleaner vocals or whatever, they would have been. If they'd have done the stuff that they're doing on later albums, where Corey's singing a bit more and it's a bit more Stone Sour-esque.
Yeah. Linkin Park have all the elements of Korn, Disturbed, Slipknot, and and the fourth and Static X. But it was controlled, so they had catchy choruses, they had riffs, really good riffs, completely clean vocals, but they still had the rapping, they still had the decks and the sampling, they still had all those elements that made up. They probably went a little bit too far with the later albums. That's when I went off them a little bit. So those first 2 albums especially are still fantastic.
They almost became something completely different. They weren't new metal.
Was it called the Cat? Whatever that song that was really electric. It was electronica, really, wasn't it?
I do feel like that was a natural progression, though.
I think you're probably right. To be fair,
when you've got
as good, but it was a natural.
When you've got decks and sampling in, there's got to be some element of that. So, I think I agree with most of them. There is one that you do not agree with.
I knew he was going to say this.
There is one that you do not agree with, definitely.
And he's going to say it because he's got dad vibes written all over.
I have got dad vibes written all over. But they would open.
They would open.
No, but
they'd be my Diamond Head slot.
I agree that they are.
Are you going for an era for them as well?
If I'm going for an era, if I'm saying they're opening, they're just opening. If I'm putting an era on it, they go higher up. Because if you put them in Chocolate Starfish era, they need to go higher. Because Roll In and Take a Look Around, My Way,
Yeah, that's
Boiler, every song off that album could have been bigger than what it was.
fair. Yeah, I suppose.
So Limp Bizkit open. Oh no, Limp Bizkit are the first band. The opener is the Sound of Monday Night Raw.
Oh, Union Underground. But they only ever had one album.
Yeah, well, that's why they'd be damned dead slot. They've only got 5 songs. There we go. Let's play these. That's it.
But then again, he could then double for Disturbed because John Mayer's also in Disturbed.
So
John Boyer, not John Mayer.
Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, again particularly the first album.
Yeah.
Well, first 2.
You could already tell by the second album the new metal stuff was quite quickly going. Yeah.
I think I would put Linkin Park in there, but then, which is the weird one. We've all put them in, and technically they don't have all the elements of new metal. Cool.
Well, that's what I was saying to you earlier. They
don't have the sample. They don't have much decks really.
But they are. But for most people, if you
are the Black Sabbath.
Yeah, if you say to them, imagine a new metal band, they might think of something in their head, and it'll be a version of Korn.
Yeah.
With the logo as well, they'll think of something like that.
Is that all 4 of your bands? Because I've just thought of something. It's just interesting to think. Obviously, they during the Thrash Big Four set, they finish with a song by Diamond Head. So what is the defining song of new metal that they would all get together and sing at the end?
Ooh.
It's got to be something like One Step
Closer.
One Step Closer, or in the, I mean, it's not a party for, but something like In the End or something like. Cause it's got the rap. And
I think it would be a Linkin Park one, definitely.
I think it
because
would
it's
be,
Am I Evil? Although the lyrics are quite harsh in some respects, the vocals aren't that bad.
I think you're right. I think we're One Step Closer. Just playing it over my head, I can hear that getting really loud.
I would struggle to see how you would get whoever the 4 bands it is that are singing to do in the end.
Yeah, it's
although something like Points of Authority might be better. But
it's right though, yeah, because like in the end, as good a song as it is, it's
you would only have Mike Shinoda doing that one bit.
Yeah, and it's very.
And who else is gonna sing with Chester on Chester's song like Chester?
True. Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, do you want to go back and do it for the
go on. Tell me what your power metal.
I'm trying to think with the power metal one, but the song that immediately came into my head. It genuinely is. It's Valhalla by Blind Guardian. So that's half the set gone because Valhalla takes up an eternity. As amazing as it is, it takes up a starting eternity. Or the Last Stand by Sabaton. In my head, I can hear that going down.
Very epic, isn't it?
I can hear that as a big crowd one. I can hear that going down really well.
That sort of finish on that last chorus with the key change in the name of God. Yeah,
but other than that, Valhalla, because that is just
it's a absolute crowd pleaser anyway.
That's just
crowd interaction as
that's
well.
just audience participation. The song, that's all that song is really.
A German class in audience participation 101.
Yeah. Now it is your turn. Song. We shall now go off stage for 5 minutes while you carry on singing, and we shall come back later. Bye bye.
Yeah, James is not very good with accents.
I thought it was pretty decent actually. Thank you very much. It's better than a South African.
Yeah,
could not. So I just thought about that bit from Ghost. You've not heard my Nelson Mandela, have you? Which I'm not doing.
It was Death then. That's a tough one because they don't really have audience participation, sing along songs.
It's just in my head again. Maybe Hammer Smash Face.
I think Hammer Smash Face was my first thought, but then I thought Chapel of Ghouls by Morbid Angel.
Maybe.
The only other one for me would be, I think it's off Executioner's Revenge, Bitter Evil Ways.
Okay.
Because it's not. It's probably one of the more accessible ones, I suppose.
Yeah. As far as Death's concerned, accessible doesn't really come into it.
No,
so if there is one that is even slightly accessible.
You're not going to do like.
So what would the new wave one be? I think it would probably have to be either Breaking the Law or Iron Maiden.
I honestly Run to the Hills.
I see that. It's not going to go down well with you, that one, is it? Run to the Hills.
No, but again, if we're going for the crowd participation one that everybody knows, it's a lively song.
Number of the Beast. I'd rather have Number of the Beast over Run to the Hills. Sorry, John.
But Number of the Beast is a fantastic song, but it takes a while to get. It takes a while to build. Like Breaking the Law, go straight into it.
Hang on. Am I Evil? About 4 minutes of.
Yeah, but there was 14 drummers playing it. They all had something to do then, didn't they?
There's a richer sound when there were 4 drummers doing it.
That's what. No,
Well, 3 drummers and Lars.
how'd you play this again? Fuck off.
Hey, James, come on, get on drums.
You play better than me.
Where's Jerry Jordan? Somebody needed.
Now I'm sad.
No, okay, no. Seriously, None of the Beast might be a good shout. Actually, to be fair,
I think I would go with Iron Maiden or Running Free or
Running Free would be. Good.
I'd pick Phantom of the Opera just because it's my favourite Maiden song, but again, it's not one of the ones that.
Running Free. Wait, Wasted Years.
Wasted Years. Wasted Years would be a good shout because it's got that
It's a huge
the meaning behind it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the.
It's also one of my favourite Maiden songs.
Yeah,
It's
It's,
amazing.
it's a great song. It's got a good chorus that's sort of a sing along, but it's also got that meaning. It's got a lot of meaning to a lot of these old metal guys now.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. That Okay, I think probably a nice way to finish up this episode. Then, who is your big 4 of metal? Forget genres, forget styles. Your big 4 of metal, James.
Are we saying big 4 as in like personal big 4, or big 4 we think you cannot deny their influence? You cannot deny what what impact they have had on the genre.
See, for me, it'd be very easy for me to say now, no, the ones that you think should be.
Okay.
Not your taste, but then throughout this entire episode, I've only talked about the ones that I personally like.
Fair
so
enough.
I can't really say that. Maybe a healthy dose of both.
Okay.
Maybe it's got to be you love Disturbed, but they're never going to.
No,
be
they're
the
not.
big 4.
They're not in the big 4.
So maybe not put them, but also at the same time, I want you to pick bands you do like. Maybe that's the rule then. Pick bands you like, but they also need to be big enough.
Okay.
The biggest bands you like.
Iron Maiden. I don't think you can have what metal is now without Iron Maiden. For accessibility, I think you'd have to go with someone like Metallica. I think for heavy, but also most people can still listen to it. You know what? I think I'm going to say Slipknot as a more modern of the big 4, a more modern take on the big 4. I'm going to say Slipknot, and then a 4th one,
Another band,
and then another band.
You've got 2 because you've got to put your Diamond Dead slot in.
Oh, the Diamond Head slot. Yeah, that's true. Oh, Amon Amarth. I think I put Amon Amarth as the 4th. Again, trying to cover as many different genres.
Yeah.
And for the Diamond Head slot, only because I've seen their name on one of the posters above Rob's head, and they could probably do everything. I would say Devin Townsend in that, simply because he could go, here's a Slipknot song. Here's
That's such a ridiculous following as well. Like he is loved.
He is, and to be fair, rightfully so.
After that, say I can't argue with that.
So I think just because I can't think of anyone else.
Is that the order? Maiden, Metallica.
Maiden would headline, then Metallica, then Slipknot, then Amon Amarth. No disrespect to any of them, because I think in any given day that order could completely change. I mean, it'd be weird to see Iron Maiden open. That would be a weird Iron Maiden as opening bill, but
That'd be sad.
I'd like to see that if they were doing early years,
and he could sing live. It's absolutely. I would agree with you that Maiden would have to be in there, but it would have to be prime Brucey rather than current Bruce.
So where would you end? Where's prime Bruce end?
I'd said that the tour I saw, which was the Somewhere Back in Time,
okay,
that would be the last the last point at which I would.
Okay.
Although I saw him after like Finals One Tier.
You did, yeah, but that was the end of the prime lot.
Yeah. So do you want to go with yours, Rob, or are you still thinking?
No, I think Maiden, definitely, and I think they would headline, regardless of who else is on that bill. Just because they did it at one of their own festivals, they played under the name Dahan at their own festival. So I would put Dahan in the opening slot, which is Metallica playing Kill 'Em All.
Oh. Why Dahan?
Because they did their own festival at the same time as Through the Never, and the main dude in that, the main actor was Dane Dahan.
Oh, okay.
So they headlined as well, but they did
A secret
show. Okay.
a secret show on the truck
Right, okay.
in the parking lot. So yeah, like something like that where it's a surprise and they do.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have them in the opening. So everybody's going, oh, fucking hell, is
It
this
was like
band?
when Ailstone played Download, but then they played a secret gig where they did all the songs, but
for dogs.
Yeah, which was silly.
It's like Machine Head used to do it. They used to just randomly announce a 10-ton hammer show.
Yeah.
But the thing is, after
Foo
a few
Fighters
years,
have done it as well, haven't they? What's their
I can't remember.
other touring name?
I know Bullet used to be called, was it
Jeff Killed John.
Jeff Killed John, that was it.
That was the name actually before.
Yeah, that's why they go back. Yeah, that's why they go
I
back
think
to
they're
it.
still a band as well. Jeff Killed John
With the original
Blur.
members, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is that all of you?
No, I haven't.
No, it's
I've
only
done two.
it's only two.
I've done the headline and the opener. I think I can't do it without Black Sabbath. I really can't do it without Black Sabbath. 'Cause they need to be in there. I think I agree with James. I'm on a Mars. I'm going to kick out Slipknot.
Good luck, there's 9 of them.
And I'm going to put in Lamb of God.
Okay.
And then you've done your opener.
Which is Metallica under the Dahan.
Yeah, Dahan, that's it.
Doing Kill 'Em All.
Well, it's interesting then that we've all gone with Maiden as our headliners.
Yeah,
That says a lot about the respect for Maiden within this the staffing team of this podcast.
I don't think you could have...
No, you can't.
Metal isn't metal without... I mean, although technically, I mean, they're not metal as in the heavy stuff.
I'd say that in a more purer sense they are, though, because they are heavy metal.
Yeah.
So for me, and I think I think one of these is probably going to be a bit... but it's based on the size and the enjoyment I got from seeing them. So I would go with Maiden headlining. I would then go with Metallica underneath them. Next would be Black Sabbath, same as yourself, because they are such a big band. And then opening, I would have AC/DC. Because I know they are rock, really, they're metal. They are more hard rock, but they certainly fit into the camp. You certainly don't get a lot of metalheads that don't
like AC/DC, right?
I thought they were fantastic, and like I've said in a previous podcast, they were for many years my favourite live show. The favourite live set I'd ever seen was that one at Donington Park, not Downward. Yes. And then in the Diamond Head slot, Led Zeppelin,
really,
because they are proto.
Yeah, I suppose.
But again, they don't like it, do they? They don't like being...
Oh god, no, Rock Band hates it, which is why I do it.
Because what was the Holy Trinity? Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin,
Cream.
and Black Sabbath. Oh, Cream.
Was it Cream?
No, I don't know.
Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, the British.
The British Trinity, yeah. Which two are very definitely metal. I say Deep Purple. I say more Led Zeppelin because they have that more metallic sound.
But I think,
Zeppelin
like,
blues
such as
band,
like
really.
Zeppelin, they were like again sort of early for like Black Sabbath. They were very much influence for them. Yeah,
as Black Sabbath were.
All right, I think we've picked the big four apart pretty thoroughly in all different types.
I would agree definitely.
I don't think there's anything else to be said on the subject. Let's never talk about it again.
No stone was left unturned.
All that's left to be said is you've been great. We've been Cabin Night. Good night.